Why did Jesus die?
Oh, it's funny that should come up because only last night, I read my Bible every night, and there was a scripture there in Hebrews, and it says, Jesus had to come as a human being so that he could die. So it meant that God, in his pre-planning of things, had planned that Jesus would die. And now the question is, why? Why death? He had to die to prove to you and me that death was not something to fear, that he could take us into a life with him after our death. What that life is, the Bible only says that it's so wonderful that no eye has seen and no ear has heard of the glories that God has waiting for us. I don't know what that means. I don't really know what heaven is, other than it's probably being with God forever. But the knowledge that Jesus is alive is the reason why I believe that one day Christians will be with him. Not just Christians, there'll be Jehovah's Witnesses there too. Not all of them. Not all Catholics, not all people that call them Christians either. Not everybody that goes to church will be there. It'll just be the people who have recognized Jesus and have humbly said, I'm yours, take over.
And this is free. But you don't like it. You want to fight it. Say it's no good for you. But it's free. And you don't take it. But you won't make it until you do.
To people who don't know God, I would only say one thing, you know, and that's this: you have to make up your mind. I mean, life is not long. It's longer for some than others, I suppose. But you have to make up your mind before your time runs out. We've all got a span of time on this earth. And all I would say is that if God is real, think what you miss if you haven't checked him out. At least, if you're going to reject him, at least reject something that you've checked out and said, I do not believe this, I do not agree with this, there is no God, I'm going my own way. I certainly have more respect for someone like that, but most people actually just totter through life without even thinking about it. In fact, what we're told in the Bible is that he wants to help us, all of us. But there are some terms. We need to turn to him in contrition. We need to be able to say to him, God, I am bad. Please help me in my life. We look and we find that the only way he can help us is through Jesus. And what's it take? It takes you on your knees or standing somewhere or even in the supermarket or in your bedroom, it doesn't matter, saying, Jesus, I believe you exist. Please, I want you in my life. From then onwards, all the help that he can give you will be yours. All I know is that for every Christian that I've ever met, they've all had the same thing to say. They are absolutely positive that Jesus exists and that they are in touch with God through him, and that their lives have been, if not easier, fulfilled, purpose-filled, and with value. What more can we ask for, really? I mean, the funny thing is, he does tend to give us a lot more than we ever ask for anyway. But I would say to the person who doesn't know God, you've got to get to know him because he's wonderful.
I know that you're convinced by your Christian beliefs, but how do you know that it's right?
Oh, well, you see, I don't know that I'm right about anything. None of us can actually get up and say, I'm right. But as a Christian, I can say to you, I may be wrong about a million things, Hannah, but all I know is that Jesus wasn't. But I'm convinced that when I finally face God, I shall probably have my knuckles rapped severely for having got a lot of things wrong. But if I can say to you, I may be wrong, but Jesus isn't. In other words, don't necessarily take everything I say for verbatim. If you did happen to agree with something I said, it's almost certain that if you were on the road to looking into Christianity, what you would have to do is check Jesus, because he is not wrong about anything, whereas I could be wrong about everything except Jesus. I believe I'm right about Jesus, but in the end, it's he that is right about all things. Well, thanks to all of you.
Our time is up. And, well, it's obvious that not only the students here in the studio, but those of you watching this video will disagree with a lot of Cliff's opinions and perspectives. That's natural. It would be a mighty odd thing if we all saw eye to eye about absolutely everything. But what I think is difficult to reject or to ignore is the obvious impact that the Christian faith has had on Cliff's life and also the constant resources that Cliff seems to have got from that faith over the years. So then, the challenge for us is not that Cliff might be wrong, but that he might possibly be right. And if he is, and if a relationship with Jesus Christ is possible, and all the good things that flow from that relationship is possible for all of us, no matter what our age, no matter what our background, no matter what our past failings might be, if it's possible, then dare we risk missing out on it?
I could talk for hours, but you wouldn't hear a word. Your own opinions make you blind. There will come a morning when the sand is all run out, and there will be no time to change your mind.